coffee. And I have a cookie. This is the raspberry chocolate, white chocolate cookie. They call it raspberry cheesecake, I think, from Subway. Just a nice treat. Okay. Today, we are going to be talking about books that I am looking forward to reading in February. Yes, I have notes. No, not February, March. Today's March 2nd. Books that I will be reading in March. Now, the first book is part of a series that I started reading in 2023. And this is the From Blood and Ash series by Jennifer Armentrout. A Blood and Ash? I think it's From Blood and Ash is the first book, is From Blood and Ash. And then this is the second book, A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire. I am actually cheating a little bit this month because I am 383 pages in. I took a break from this book actually to finish Kingdom of Ash. But I absolutely love this series and I absolutely love Jennifer Armentrout's writing. This is the second novel of hers, first series of hers, but she has so many books that I intend to read. This is like my bucket list to live, is to read all of her books. But yeah, I love her writing. I love her writing style. It's easy to follow. She has a very complex world and very complex, well, I mean, the world itself isn't too complex, but the history, the things that are happening is fairly complex, but easy to grasp. And I really feel like her characters are very well fleshed out. Like I could see them as real people. I am highly, highly attached to Poppy, the main character, and a couple other people in her life. Like I'm really, really attached to them. The first book, somebody died. I won't tell you who, but somebody died. And I cried. Like I cried because they died. And that has not happened to me in any of the Sarah J Maas books. Like I did not cry. I mean, maybe in ACOTAR I cried. ACOTAR did produce a lot of emotions. But this is better. This is better than any of the Sarah J Maas books that I've read. I feel like just the world building, the characterization, the fact that also it's in first person makes a huge, huge difference compared to like the Throne of Glass series in third person and the end of ACOTAR is in third person. This being in first person, it just makes a huge, huge difference. I'm a big first person fan. So yeah, this is one that I'm reading. I have trouble putting these down when I start reading them. I read the first one on my Kindle app and I mean, it was 600 pages and I think I read it in under a month. I was just binge reading. Like I could not stop. Every time I pick it up, I lose track of time. I forget reality exists. Like I forget where I am, who I am. Like it's just so good. These are like 5-star series and I haven't even gotten done with the second book yet. That is one of the books that I'm reading. The second one that I'm reading, I think I'm gonna do a reading with me vlog for this one. It is the third book in the This Woven Kingdom series by Tahereh Mafi. I read the Shatter Me series, absolutely loved her Shatter Me series, and then I read her standalone book, Very Large Expanse of the Sea, which is currently like a young adult novel. That one was really, really good. Like I read it so fast. I love her writing too. Like I just cannot get enough of her writing. I almost read the last page of this book. I would have been devastated. I just read the word lips. That's all. Who knows, right? But yeah, her Shatter Me series was so addicting. Like I loved this entire series. It was so good. I do have to say that I feel like it's another one of those series that could have been a little bit shorter. But I loved the main characters in the Shatter Me series and I love the main characters in this one too. As soon as I finished this one, so yeah, this is one series that I've been reading as it comes out and I've never done that before with a series. So as soon as I finished this one and heard that this one was coming out, I put it on the waiting list to get this book because I just I couldn't not like continue. I've been thinking about it. Like I can't stop thinking about how this one ended and I have no idea what's gonna happen. And there's almost like a love triangle in this, which is really, really exciting. I love that. And it's not even like it's not like any love triangle I've read before either. Like, it's so different. And this is like, okay, it's a fantasy world. We have like a lost princess, lost kingdoms. We have kind of like a darker prince. And then we have like a prince who doesn't, like, is another prince, who learned things about his past, his life, and his family that he didn't know before. And he inherits his kingdom right after learning all of this stuff. So he's kind of grappling with that. I don't want to say too much more because I don't want to spoil it, but these books are really, really good. 100% recommend picking them up. I don't know because it's been so long since I read the first one, but I just know that it was another one that I couldn't put down. So I probably would at least give it a 4-star, if not more. I do know that these Infinite Threads, the second one, a 5-star, absolutely. And also they're so beautiful. Like, just look at these books. Like, they're so pretty. I mean, like, this one, the color scheme's okay, but this one, it is gorgeous. I think these are ones that you keep and you display like on a shelf somewhere because they're just so pretty. Okay, and then the third book I have to read, I have an explanation for this one. So this is an author who has a podcast series for writers. So it is K.M. Weiland, Helping Writers Become Authors podcast series. I binge listened to this podcast series. Of course, they're like 15-minute podcasts each, so they're short, but they are jam-packed with information. So if you're interested in becoming a writer, you're working on your craft, all of these things, I 100% recommend listening to K.M. Weiland's podcast series. So the book that I want to read is by her. It's Dreamlander. I've never read any of her books, so this will be the first time that I've read one of her novels. The reason that I'm reading this one is because it is the theme is similar to the novel that I am working on. So this one is, I'm going to read the back of it a little bit. What if dreams came true? What if it were possible to live 2 very different lives in 2 separate worlds? What if the dreams we awaken from are the fading memories of the second life? What if one day we wake up in the wrong world? So I was listening to her podcast episode specifically on what is wrong with your novel, why it's not working, because I was in the middle of restructuring. So I've been working on this novel since 2021 or 2020. I think 2020. I started it, I wrote the first draft from one character's perspective, went back to it, wrote it from another character's perspective, and then went back to it and wrote it from another character's perspective. And I've been in that character's perspective ever since, rewriting the novel over and over again. And then I finally decided to seek professional help because I was like, I just keep rewriting this thing and I did, to be fair, write 3 books, but I've been rewriting the first one over and over again. So I decided to get an editor. She told me I needed to realign it with the story structure, which I have not really, as I've been writing for many, many years in my life, I have never really followed the 3-act story structure. And it's the one that K.M. Weiland kind of outlines too. It's the 8-point. It's a little bit different than the one my editor uses, but pretty much the same thing. Anyway, so I was listening to this podcast about what is wrong with your novel, why is it not working, and she was talking about wanting to write a second one of this and why she couldn't do it. And as she was explaining this book, I was like, God, it sounds so much like my story, in the aspect that there is an alternate universe. So, give me a second. Whoops. So the book has remained unharmed. That's what matters, right? Book is fine. So there's an alternate universe. My story, I don't want to give too much away in my story, right? But there is an alternate universe situation, and just the way she was explaining this, as she had wanted to write a sequel but couldn't, it just made me think, like, I've been wanting to read more stories like what I write, because if I were to comp my story right now, I have no similar comps to my book. And because I love her podcast and I love her theories on writing and world building and characterization, I'm really curious how she puts it into play. So she wrote this a while ago, I think. Let's see if I can find a date. 2012. That's a long time ago. So this is on my to-read list too. I think I'm going to read all of these books in March. Probably not, but I do want to prioritize getting this one done, which I think I could read fast, and I think I'm going to do a vlog of this one. And this absolutely, I mean, this is like my guilty pleasure. This is like, if I just want to just chill, I pick up that book. This book is heavy too. Like it is very, like the font is kind of small, and it is many pages. Let's see if I can do this without reading any of the spoilers in the back. 600, oh, I don't know if that's the end of the book or if that's, oh yeah, that's the end of the book. Okay, so it is 628 pages. 628, that's my birthday. It is 628 pages. I love this book. I want to aspire to be Jennifer Armentrout, I swear. Anyway, 628 pages. Again, I think about these characters regularly because I just love them so much. There is spice, and it is very good, and the romance is to die for. Like it is so, oh, it's wonderful. And book 1 and book 2, again, both books, they're just so good. And also I don't know if it's a spoiler or not. I don't think it's not a spoiler because it's in the beginning of the first book, but she's an empath. And in my novel that I'm writing, one of my characters is an empath, so it was really good to read this because I use a lot of emotions, like anger, jealous, and she actually uses that too. And I always thought, you know, you're not allowed to state emotions in your writing, and to read her and have her also do the same thing really helped validate my writing. Made me feel good about how I'm writing. And I've also kind of got some descriptors of emotions that she's teaching me, basically. I'm stealing them, but not word for word. Just some ideas, you know, like the metallic taste of anger or something like that. So I use a different like word, like maybe like the ash is something that she uses a lot. So maybe like the bitter, you know, the bitter taste or things like that, which bitter is not really a good descriptive word, whatever. So these are the 3 books that I'm planning to read in the month of January, or at least March and April. This is my reading list. So I look forward to reading all this Twisted Glory with you. I'm so excited about this book. Like, I'm gonna read this so fast. I have to, just because I can't wait to see what happens. So, and I have added Kingdom of Ash to my bookmark. I can't wait to add these 3. And I'm so excited, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.